Warning, I do not own any of the video clips or manga panels in this video. They are used for educational purposes only to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Thank you. Now back to the video.
Hello, fellow people of the internet who had a sudden interest in what inspired Naruto. My name is Zyreon, and today I will indulge you just a wee little bit by telling you about Naruto's inspiration from Japanese folklore and myths. Let's get right into it. First, let's talk about Kurama. Kurama is Naruto's tail beast. Kurama is based on the Japanese kitsune, which is one of the most popular yokai in Japan. They appear in multiple forms of media, some of which include folklore and manga. The word kitsune comes from a story about a man who married a woman. They had a son, and at the same time they had their son, their dog had a puppy. The puppy would bark at the woman constantly. One day she got so terrified she transformed into a fox and jumped on top of a hedge. The two were then forced to separate after this. However, the two still loved each other very much. So the wife would come and sleep with the husband every night. As for the name kitsune, well, that is separated by the words kitsu, which means to come, and the word ne, which means and sleep. Kitsunes were also connected with the worship of Inari. Inari is the kami of the rice fields, as well as being associated with other things like farming and fertility. As for the kitsune, they are seen as the messengers of Inari, which is why at some Japanese temples you see the stone statues of kitsune. Kitsunes emanate a dangerous aura which can be seen many times in Naruto, like when people check his chakra and they see it. They also transform into beautiful women to seduce people, which could be the inspiration behind one of Naruto's jutsus. They were also believed to be an excellent shapeshifters and liked playing pranks on the people. This can be seen in the original concept of Naruto because originally that is what Naruto was intended to be, a fox spirit who transformed into a boy and went to the village and played pranks on the villagers. Next, we're going to be talking about Shikaku. Shikaku is based on the tanuki, also known as the Japanese raccoon dog. The story of the miraculous tea kettle talks about a priest who lived in a temple and decided to pour a cup of tea from a tea kettle. But when he went to do this, the kettle changed into the head, tail, and legs of a tanuki. This is probably the inspiration behind the man who had been Shikaku's previous Jinchuriki. But along with that story, tanukis also like to impersonate monks, which could be why the monk often was mistaken as Shikaku. Tanukis were also believed to throw sand at people, which could be the inspiration behind Gaara's chakra nature and abilities using sand. Anyway, on to the next one. Kirin. Sasuke's ability is distinguishable by its appearance, consisting of a deer-like body with the face and scales of a dragon and the mane of an ox. Kamatari Tamari Summon. Tamari's summon Kamatari is based on a Japanese yokai by the same name. It is said to ride in the whirlwinds and only attack the lower half of people's bodies with quick precision, leaving cuts that are just enough to cause a lot of damage and not leave a trace of them being there. Next up is Monkey King Emma. Wait, isn't that the name of one of the Halloween's managers? Maybe. Anyway. This is Hiruzen Summon, whose name is a reference to the Japanese name Yama, who is one of the 12 Deva. The character himself is a reference to the Monkey King Sun Wukong, with his appearance also taking inspiration from it, as seen in his clothing. Next up is the three legendary Sannin. They are based on a story called Jiraiya or the Magic Frog. This starts on page 429 of Epic Japanese Myths and Tales. The story tells us the tale of a lord of a castle who had a son named Jiraiya. Jiraiya means young thunder in Japanese. During a civil war, the castle was taken, and the lord killed. However, Jiraiya escaped with the help of one of the lord's retainers. However, after they escaped, one day the retainer had been killed by robbers, which ended up leaving Jiraiya in a world where he had to fend for himself. So he himself became the leader of a group of robbers. He would disguise himself to infiltrate and learn what the treasures of the of the wealthy lied. Jiraiya heard of a man who was very wealthy, somewhere in the mountains, so he went there. He decided to stay at the house that had a beautiful woman later that night. He snuck in her room and tried to kill her, but just before he did, the woman changed into an old man and broke his sword. He then tells Jiraiya that his true form is not that of a woman or an old man, but a giant frog, and that he cannot handle it. He then decides that instead of killing him for trespassing, he would teach Jiraiya magic instead, most likely the inspiration for Sage Mode, and his travel to the Toad's world. He then stayed with the man and learns how to control the weather. He then knew how to govern the frogs, the inspiration for his frog summoning. After a while of helping people in a different place lived a young maiden named Tsunade, who met the man the same way Jiraiya did. But this one turned out to be a snail, probably the inspiration for the slug summoning. Then there was the son of the serpent dragon, Coil, or Orochimaru, this being the inspiration for Orochimaru. Tsunade and Jiraiya then joined with each other and had to fight Orochimaru, thus being the inspiration for the three-way deadlock. Next up, we're going to talk about Kaguya. Kaguya is inspired from a story called The Bamboo Cutter and the Moon Maiden. The story talks about how a bamboo cutter named Tsunagi no Miyaku, who was a bamboo cutter, and one day, while he was cutting bamboo, he saw a miraculous light which he then revealed a small child. After he took this child in, he started to have good fortune. The child grew in stature to that of a full-grown woman, and the bamboo cutter gave her the name Lady Kaguya. She had many people won her affection, so she sent them on a quest to find rare items. However, the first made a counterfeit copy of the object, which was quickly sent back. The second one had other people find it or make a copy of it, but forgot to pay them, and they called them out on it. The third thought what he bought was a fireproof robe, to which the merchant had purchased it from, told him it was the real deal. However, when he got to Lady Kaguya, he then tossed it into a fire. It immediately got incinerated. So basically, moral of the story is he got scammed. Pretty bad. The fourth went to get the item, but because of a curse put on it, he became very ill and this became hazardous. He decided it was not worth the trouble, so he came back home empty-handed. Ended up not going to see Kaguya. After a few years, she started staring at the moon. The bamboo cutter asked what caused her sorrows, to which she said that looking at the moon made her reflect on the wretchedness of this world, because she was originally from the moon, and how she wanted to go back to it, what she did. This was probably an inspiration behind Madara's plan to use infinite Tsukuyomi, so no one had to suffer. Next up, we have Izanagi and Izanami. These two are regarded as the primal beings after 5 generations of gods. Not much is known about the people who came before them. These two were believed to have created all the lands or islands of Japan. But during the birth of their last child, Izanami was horribly burnt and passed away. Izanagi went to the underworld to bring her back, but found her body too repulsive to do due to the decomposing of it. He then fled the underworld. Izanami then turned into a demon, and Izanagi sealed the entrance to the underworld. After he got back from the underworld, he bathed to purify himself because of his contact with the dead. He then gave birth to 2 more children. One of them being Amaterasu and the other being Susanoo. Amaterasu is also known as the goddess of the sun, which could explain the ability of never-ending fire, who also fought with their brother Susanoo. Susanoo is Amaterasu's brother who was assigned to guard the ocean, and was not happy with this, and challenged her to a contest to see. He was told if he lost, he then went on a rampage. After this, they found him and cut his nails and beard. He was also banished because of this. He was also said to be born when Izanagi washed his nose, so that could be why they have such pronounced noses, but I'm not sure. Next up is Indra and Ashura. Okay, so this one is not entirely Japanese. It's from Hindu mythology, where the Ashura is seen as a nature spirit, does not like the Devas. They are also power-hungry and believed to have been obsessed with violence. They also had a huge ego, which could possibly describe how Asura acted later on. Indra is also known as Sakura in Buddhism. Indra is considered the leader and is also believed to be kinder and more forgiving. Now, as for their fighting, when Indra was named ruler, Indra was given leadership of Ninshu by Haguruma to support the Sage Six Paths, whichever you prefer, which made Ashura mad and he started a war, which is what happened in Naruto. Like, yeah. Um, Next up, we have the Six Paths of Pain. The Paths of Pain are based on the Buddhist ideology of reincarnation. The path, which is the one closest to godhood, which is why it uses powers like planetary devastation, which is also what Yahiko became. The next path is the Asura path, whose realm contains warlike demigods where the people are plagued with jealousy, contempt, and violence, so they experience some pain. This also could explain why it uses more modern weapons. The demigods that they resemble are known to have 6 arms and 3 faces, which could explain their appearance in the anime. The next up is the human or Manayusha path, which is in the middle ground, which allows it to connect to people, which explains to why its ability is to connect with people, which also makes it best suited for intelligence interrogation. The the next one is the animal or Tirayani path. At its core, the animal path plane has fear, survival, and instinct because they are considered to be on a different plane mentally at least. This explains why some of the animals that are summoned seem to be from distant realm. The next path is the Preta path, which is believed to be plagued by desire and possessiveness. When they are reborn, they have an insatiable appetite, which explains their ability to consume mass amounts of chakra. Like in Naruto, when Naruto used Sage Mode chakra to turn it to stone to beat it. But last but not least is the Nakara path. This path is known as the Underworld, which is for people who did not possess any virtue in their past life. The Nakara path does not really fight in Naruto, but what it does do, interrogation, also can summon the King of the Underworld, which is part of pain that is used to bring back the dead.
The next one is the sword Kusanagi no Tsugai. This sword is used by Orochimaru and is the final piece of the Japanese imperial regalia. This sword was also given to Amaterasu as an apology from Susanoo.
Itachi's Sword of Totsuka. Itachi's Sword of Totsuka is believed to be the sword that Susanoo had used to slay the 8-headed serpent, and the reason it could be shown coming out of a sake bottle is because Susanoo got the serpent drunk before killing it. It also makes sense that the sword was used with Susanoo. Next up is the Yata mirror. The shield is real life is the mirror Yata no Kagami, which is 1/3 of the imperial regalia of Japan, along with a sword and a jewel. It was believed that a mirror was hung outside the cave that Amaterasu hid in after her bout with Susanoo, it was used to show her her reflection and startled her enough that the gods could extract her. Shield was then passed on down through the emperors of Japan. Itachi's Yasuka Magatama. This attack Itachi used with his Susanoo is another part of the imperial regalia of Japan. The beads were also hung inside the cave Amaterasu was in. If you'd like to see this for other animes, let me know. I'm currently working on one for Jujutsu Kaisen. However, if there's another anime you'd like me to cover, let me know and I'll try my best to dig out some information on it. There might be more I missed, but hopefully you enjoyed. If you do know of any I missed, let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya out. Hello, my name is Zyreon, and today we're going to Hello, my name is Zyreon, and today we're going to take a look at Naruto's inspiration from Japanese mythology and tales. First, let's take a look at some of the animals and creatures that are in Naruto. First up, let's talk about the one and only Kurama. Kurama is Naruto's nine-tailed No. Hello, people of the internet Should I talk slower? All right. Here's the deal. We're gonna be talking. I'm sorry. I can't. Okay. There's gonna be a blooper reel for real. Okay. So I tried scripting videos, right? Only it was great. It didn't work. I couldn't focus. I kept messing up the thingies. Okay, the words they ain't English in my brain. It ain't it. Yeah, the words not wording. So it's not scripted. Yeah. Hello, fellow people of the internet. I forgot what I was gonna say.